it's always really neat when that happens, because you're like borrowing this essence and this creation from somebody else to like complete your own creative output. And it's just a neat sharing that can happen.
Ghost Cult Magazine welcomes in Cammie from Oceans of Slumber. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
It's so good to see you and so good to talk to you today. So hyped on this brand new record, Starlight and Ash, on Century Media, who you've been on. It's been your label for a while. You guys seem very prolific despite the last couple of years in the world. It's just album, single album. Like you guys are seem very fastidious and hardworking.
We definitely take it serious and hit it hard. We don't like to stop or have too much downtime. So, staying busy is the best way for us to stay sane.
Right on, I agree. And we did the same thing ourselves. We took the opportunity during whatever was going on in the world, and is still kind of going on, as we just talked about offline, to just double down on our whatever we're good at, just do it more, and just seemed to work for us. Also, no shade on anybody. I know a lot of bands couldn't work or write during the pandemic. Some of my favorite bands were like, nope, gonna just not do anything till I know this thing is, done and over. So,
Yeah.
you know, everybody's a little bit different. But yeah, love this new record. It's definitely a different vibe from some of your past work, and I kind of wanted to start there. I wanted to see if there was anything to unpack about. Just in general, it's just like a much more moody, I'll say, a moody and emotional album. I mean, all albums have personal lyrics and stories to you guys, but this one seems especially so.
For us, it was sort of focusing on doing what we wanted to do, not really worrying about, where it was going to fit in or what it was going to sound like. It was just, we just wanted to make some really good songs that spoke to us. We wrote this album during the pandemic, and so I guess it was a little bit of that uncertainty of not knowing if things would open back up and where things would go. That it's like, if we were going to make an album, it needed to be as honest and authentic as possible, because it could have been our last album or something. Like it was such a turbulent, uncertain time, and so we were just in our own space, in our own heads, in our house. And something like this comes out as a reflection of just, the experiences that we had. It was a very reflective time for a lot of reasons. And so we wanted to kind of deep dive into everyone's, upbringing and origin stories, so to speak, and then kind of take those and turn those into songs. What's funny is, I remember feeling like when we were writing this album that these songs were very like hopeful, or more hopeful than our songs have been in the past. And I didn't feel like they were they were emotional, but I felt like the impact of the emotion was a little bit more like gestalt than it was like directly from the songs. But I guess that just wasn't true. A lot of the feedback and how people feel about it, they're like, it is such an emotionally potent album. And I feel like it pinpoints people's emotions so like directly and intensely, like more than maybe some of our other songs have for like a broader range of people. But I'm hoping amongst the emotional turmoil it might cause, that those elements of hope or like a breath is there, at least coming out of it a little bit too.
Absolutely, there's definitely some relief in there, and there's always a journey, right? And it's your journey. More first and foremost, it's an album for you. I know that Century is not a label that will pressure you to do what they want. They let you do your thing mostly, and you know, every piece of art is a unique snowflake, just like everything else. And it's cool when fans connect to your art, but also it was for you first. When you first made it, it was for you. So it's cool to recognize that yourself about the fan reaction and the, I guess, the press reaction. I haven't seen any, just my own to the record, but that's my journey. And yeah, I definitely appreciate the opportunity. The songs breathe. There's a lot of room for you to sing and do your thing and work. And there's a lot of great melodic stuff on this record, maybe as much as any record Oceans of Slumber has ever done. So I'm a sucker for, I love all the heavy extreme stuff, but also a good song is a good song.
Thank you. And yeah, I agree. I mean, that's how we felt about it. Like, we're not make it's in the vein of what we've always done, these sort of themes and threads, and stylistically too. We've had other songs that sound what this album came out as, like, as a full, thing. And I think it's heavy just in a different way than people are used to.
I agree with that. And just out of curiosity, like we talked about being prolific, do you journal? Do you write lyrics all the time, or is it more a case of, well, we're in songwriting mode. I better put down some thoughts to these songs. How do you guys work?
So I'm writing all the time, daily, and in and on everything. Like, I have a collection of papers, a collection of journals, notes in my phone, notes in Dauber's phone. My phone's dead or something. And so, how it kind of works out is Dauber writes the majority of the music, or him and one of the guys will have an idea that they work off of, and the songs are pretty much complete by the time I get them. And then I listen for, what sort of imagery and story it like evokes for me, and then I will, like, rush to my writing, or usually it kind of brings up something or a sentiment or idea or thought that I've already written something about. So I'll try and find that and see if it fits, or if it does happen, it's very instantaneous, that it has its own story and has its own imagery, and I try and, scribble that out as soon as possible, and then just expand on it from there. I would say of the songs, there'll be one or two that sound exactly like what I want them. Like, I get the idea, and it stays that same idea from the moment I listen to it until it goes to record. And then there's songs that, like, I just have nothing to until I'm down to the wire, and we're like, we gotta go record, and I'm trying to figure out. It's like, I know I know. I have this, like, visual in my head, but, obviously putting it to words is where I'm trying to bring it to life, and everything kind of starts like a little mini movie in my head. And so, but it's a whirlwind at all times, things going on, and creative output, that, like, the song is this violent, like, birth of, okay, it finally came together and it's out there as something tangible for other people. So it's a process. So a complicated process.
I hear you, and again, it's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Not easy to always put into words, but thanks for sharing. I appreciate that, and here we are with this album again. You guys have been, as I said, very prolific over the years, one after another. The world gave us a break, but you don't have to give yourself one. It's important to apply your craft, and I say that for the band as well. Some of these songs are, again, just the stylistic change doesn't mean, is not a knock on the quality of the songs. It's just a different vibe. And so, yeah, some of these are my favorite songs by the band ever, including Red Forest Roads and Salvation. So, among my favorite songs by the band, just personally. So, do you have a favorite on the record so far, or not yet?
Those are my two favorite too.
No way.
Salvation. I love how rich the storytelling is in that song, and then I love the kind of vocal riffing that I got to do at the end. And then Red Forest Road, because that song is like Dauber's song, and it's like Dauber's story, and I love, like, the layering of kind of synth sounds that are over that, and just how big that song gets by the end. And it's like a locomotive just, like, moving. And then I really like Star Altar, but Red Forest Road and Salvation are my two favorites too. So that's cool.
Nice. Star Altar is also awesome. And then, of course, I have to. Last time we talked, we were talking about covers. I have said on record, I think Strange Fruit is the best and most important song ever. And you're back with another cover on this album. I know you just naturally suited as a band to do them well. House of the Rising Sun is like an eternal song. Obviously, everybody knows the one version, but it's actually like it got a whole it's a whole ass mood. House of the Rising Sun, and your version's awesome, and I love how personal. Again, you made it your own, which is what I think you do with covers. So nice job, and just another good one.
Thank you. That's such a that's a great way to put it. It is such a mood. Like that song carries so much of its own weight, and it's such a historical song. Like it's just been around and infused in so many people's lives, and so to get the chance to make it our own, felt right, and for it to match so well with the vibe and what we were trying to do with this album. It's always really neat when that happens, because you're like borrowing this essence and this creation from somebody else to like complete your own creative output, and it's just a neat sharing that can happen.
Right on, right on. This again, I think your talents and the band's talents are uniquely suited. Not the most conventional songs to pull off for a band that's a metal band, but you guys can do it. And again, like I said, I still think I don't know that anything will ever top for me Strange Fruit as a cover in general ever. That's I'll go on record and die on that hill with that, because that's just, yeah, it's really important to me, and it's Billy is the greatest singer maybe ever. So props to you for even trying, because a lot of people have covered that song to varying degrees.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. It's a
Yeah,
very
yeah.
meaningful song, and it's definitely one that will stay kind of, you know, on an altar for us too. So
And especially when it came out, the timing and just the meaning behind it, and everything going on and still going on, unfortunately, in the
yeah,
world. It's just try to keep that PMA, try to keep that early punk rock positivity, but it's hard out here. It's hard. What do you do just to help your mental health out? What's your hobbies to release beside music?
I got asked this by a friend of mine, and I was like really disappointed. I was like, I don't know. And we're on a quest to kind of figure it out. I write, and that helps, but I feel like sometimes that's just not like outside of myself enough. But on it outside of my own music, it's getting involved with Dauber's other bands and other music. So it's like when I get to go with him, or I'm at his rehearsal, or I'm helping in whatever capacity one of his other bands, like it's a way for me to just, it's like when I can focus on something outside of myself. I've been going to the gym um and trying to like meditate, but I do need to find like, I guess, some other activity that isn't music related that I feel like would help relax or help distract my mind or give my mind something else to like, swirl around. I'm looking into some yoga, but it's mindfulness that keeps my mental health where it is best. But as far as like activities, I'm working on it, and they kind of change. And fortunately, I am really busy with music stuff, as you see, all the time. We're in Brooklyn and recording for Necrofire, and I've done some guest spots on that, and it's just fun being in the studio and watching it come together at such an amazing production level. And so just trying to stay as around like-minded people and other healthy people, as possible.
Nice. Good luck with the recording sesh. New York's my hometown. I don't live there anymore. If you're a pizza fan, go get you a Joe's Pizza. That's the best pizza in New York, if I have to give my opinion.
We've been 3 times.
Oh yeah, there it is. See, or Two Boots. There's a lot of people who are gluten free or need vegan options, and
Yeah,
Two Boots is the vegan and gluten free best pizza. But Joe's, if you can just handle a regular slice, is my preferred. I miss it so much. I live in
it's
California, and
good.
the pizza's horrible out here. It's like a curse. I moved to the place of my dreams.
Yeah.
I always dreamed about being here, and pizza's trash. So it's like my punishment to leave in New York. It's like the New
Pizza's
York. I angered the New York gods. Um,
good.
just for a last note, what's on the horizon? I'm sure you guys want to tour some more and hit up some festivals and things, whatever's possible for you.
Yes, we have a tour planned at the end of August into September. We're working on finalizing, I guess, all the details and stuff for that, and then figuring out festivals and getting overseas, and then getting on the West Coast, getting up to Canada. It's a lot of planning, and things are tricky to plan still, like maybe more so than you'd think, but it takes not plan. There's a sweet spot of not planning it too far in advance and then not too last minute. So we're figuring it out.
Indeed, I hope the fans are growing in appreciation. I know there was a lot of disappointment when things were booked and then canceled,
Mhm.
but the whole touring mechanism, big or small, whatever band you're in, is really challenging financially, emotionally. It's
Yeah,
draining. There's a lot that goes in that goes behind the scenes that I don't think the fan sees even when they buy a ticket. So,
yeah,
best
absolutely.
of luck with that, and hope for the continued patience. I know your personal fans of your band are waiting. I'm one of them. We're waiting for you to get out here. So when you do, awesome. We'll see you, and just keep it up. Keep up the great work. And again, I hope everybody goes out and gets Starlight and Ash right now. It's out now on Century Media, and don't just stream it. Go help this band out and buy some stuff.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, great to talk to you again, Cammie. Be well, and we'll see you soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much.